Hey, morning, and welcome to your balancing snack. So I've been doing these monthly snacks. So today's one is a balancing snack. You're going to need a myofascial release ball or a tennis ball. You'll need a little chair, or I've got a stool here, definitely not on wheels. But you could have a chair and you'll just be using the front of the chair, a blanket, and later on we'll need a bolster. So grab what you want and let's go. So we're going to start with rolling our feet. So it's really important for balances to start from the bottom up, right? So we're going to prepare the body for more and more kind of complicated balances, but we'll just get the tissues ready to be able to hold our weight on our feet. So we'll start with the tennis ball or the myofascial release ball in the centre of the foot. So that's centre long ways, centre width ways. And just place your heel on the floor. And if that's not comfy, place the toes on the floor. Something on the floor, either the front or the back of the foot. The ball's in the middle. And I'm just going to press down. I'm going to press down by moving my hips over the ball. And then I'll release. So just pressing and releasing, gradually intensifying the sensation. Not to the point of pain, but just so that you're intensifying and then backing off. And you can breathe with this, so you exhale as you press, so you're relaxing as you exhale, relaxing as you intensify, and inhaling as you release. Let's do two more. Exhale and press. It's just preparing the fascia of the foot to communicate with the earth, to help us actually hold ourselves up in gravity. And once we've done that, we're just going to roll the ball a little bit towards the heel, so a little bit in front of the heel. So not actually on the heel pad, but sort of where the sole of the foot becomes the heel. And we're doing the same thing, press and release. Nice and slow. As I press, I'm moving my hips. I'm not using the force of my leg. I'm just pressing and releasing. And then let's press into a medium pressure. So somewhere between press and release is medium pressure. And then holding that, and you've got to be careful with tennis balls here because they tend to roll away. Just tiny little kind of movements side to side, moving that ball to the outside and the inside of that heel line. Keep the pressure down. And as I say, with tennis balls, they're a little bit fluffy, so don't be surprised if they go shooting off. But just kind of squishing fluids side to side under the foot there. Very nice. And then come to place the heel of your foot on the floor, and you're just going to place the ball, your tennis ball or myofascial release ball under the ball of your big toe. So we're going to press into the ball of the big toe. So you're not under the big toe, you're under the ball of the big toe. And then we're going to go each toe in turn. So second toe, third toe, and each time I can see the little knuckles popping up. Fourth toe, fifth toe, and then I'll go back to the beginning. So from fifth, I'll go to the fourth, press and release. The third, the second, and the first. So now I'm back under the ball of the big toe. And then I'm going to find medium pressure somewhere between press and release. It's medium. And I'm going to hold that as I roll from the ball of the big toe to the ball of the little toe. And then I'm going to roll back. Roll side to side. And then roll back. Very nice. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll from the centre of the ball of the foot. I'm going to press, find medium pressure, and then I'm going to press the ball until I get to the heel, and then I'm going to press, and then I'm going to just move the ball back. So press the ball into the ball of the foot, ball into the centre, roll, press, and roll back. So we've done the centre of the foot, so we could try the big toe line, a little bit more tricky. Press into the ball of the big toe and then see if you can roll, maintain medium pressure all the way up that inside edge of the foot, press on the heel, come back. And you can also try the little toe side. And these are kind of tricky because there's speed bumps, trying to maintain that pressure. Just do a few more, either the centre line, the inside line, and the outside line. Oh, some of these are tricky. And then we're just going to do some scribbling, which is very, very light. Releasing, scribbling, rolling that ball softly, softly over the whole of the bottom of the foot. And then stand on both feet and just take a breath. And just feel the difference. Feel the difference between how one foot sits on the floor and how the other one does, how the bones feel, how the ankles feel, how the knees feel, how the hips feel, because you'll probably find that it translates up the whole of the body. It's quite incredible. And Now the left foot wants to go, or the other foot if you did the right foot. So we'll start in the middle. Heel of the foot on the floor, or the toes on the floor. We're just going to do middle, middle. So middle long ways, middle width ways, press and release. So with the breath, you exhale as you press, you gradually intensify, not to the point of pain, and then you gradually release. And you're placing pressure by moving the hips over the ball. Let's do a couple more. It's really important to prepare the feet for balances. It makes it much easier to balance. Very nice. Now let's move the toes to the floor. Move the ball to just in front of the heel, so just above the heel, or just where the sole of the foot meets the heel. There's a little line there, and that's where I'm pressing. Again, I'm pressing and releasing, so I can use the breath, gradually intensifying, gradually backing off, and then I'm going to find medium pressure somewhere in the middle. I'm going to maintain that, and I'm going to squish from side to side, and this is where your tennis ball goes off for a little run. Squish side to side, so I'm just internally and externally rotating my leg as I maintain medium pressure. Very nice. And then let's bring the heel of the foot on the floor, and the ball is going to be underneath the ball of the big toe. So I'm going to press into the ball of the big toe knuckle rises, then I'm going to move to the second toe. As I press, I can see that knuckle, third toe, fourth toe, little toe, and then back, fourth, third, second, and back to the big toe. Very nice. And now we're going to do those lines. So start in the middle of the ball of the foot, find medium pressure, and then roll, maintaining medium pressure all the way to the heel, press, and then roll that ball back with no pressure. You can do that again. So that's the center line, maintain medium pressure. Remember, medium pressure is medium for you. That's somewhere between feeling nothing and definitely not feeling pain. I'm doing this inner line now, so from the big toe ball up the center edge. This one's quite a chatty one. Try the little toe side edge, kind of harder to maintain that evenness, but just keep trying. And when you've done a couple of times each line, a little bit of scribbling. And then just place your ball to the side and come and stand back on your feet. Just feet under your hips. Just lift and roll the shoulders back and down. And just close your eyes, maybe if that's comfortable for you, and just feel inside. Hopefully that feels a bit more balanced. We've spread the bones out. We've translated the load up the body so we can feel maybe some effect in the ankles, the knees, the hips. Or maybe we don't feel it now because it's balanced. You feel it more when you've done one and not the other. So let's just start to open up the upper body. So feet can be under the heels, feet can be under the hips. We're going to just take the arms out and up as we breathe in. You can look up as well. And as you breathe out, just taking the arms out and down. You can drop the chin as the hands come down. It's optional if you want to add the head or not. And all we're doing is breathing in, raising the arms up, and breathing out, letting the arms down. Just let the heels sink down into the earth a little bit more. So you've got maybe 2/3 of your weight on the heels and 1/3 of your weight on the balls of the feet. Just feel that your hips are stacked over your heels. And you're just starting to wake up the upper body. And you'll see that if you're just naturally moving your arms, the palms will probably face forward about halfway up. And as they come up to the top, they'll face in. And as you come down, they'll face probably forward about halfway. And as they come down, they'll face back into the hips. And that movement is just those arm bones just rolling around, finding some slide and glide. With the breath, exhaling as we come down. So now we're going to come up again. We're going to bring the arms up, and then we're going to cross the palms over. I'm just going to bend my knees so you can see. So cross the wrists over, then turn the palms towards each other, and then stretch up. So I've turned my palms facing towards each other, I've got one wrist crossed over the other. I'm going to reach up, almost reach back as if I'm trying to lift my ribs up. And I'm just going to stretch side to side, just a little bit, side to side. And keep on reaching the hands back, because there'll probably be a tendency to lift forward. And that neck needs to soften. Try and release any tension in the neck. And then release. And then shake those arms out. And then come up again, and you'll probably find that if you did that the same, you would cross the same way. If you did it without thinking, you'd cross the same way. So go and do it without thinking, and then change the cross. So now the opposite wrist's in front. This is what I look like if you could see my hands. Reaching up, and then again just a little bit of side bending, side to side. Weight on the heels, reaching the hands back. Take a few deep breaths, and then release. Shaking out. Very nice. And then let's try lifting up onto the balls of the feet as we raise the hands up. So it's the same movement as we did before, but as you come up, and you'll need to focus on a point in front of you, use the whole of the in-breath to come up onto the balls of the feet. So as you breathe in and you reach the top, you're right up. And as you breathe out, you're going to slowly come down halfway as the hands are halfway, and all the way when you finish the breath. Let's do another two of those. Breathing in, it's almost like the hands are lifting the heels up, like you're a puppeteer, or the breath is lifting the hands and the heels up. And then coming down super slowly with the breath. Let's do one more. Breathing in, lifting right up onto the tiptoes, and breathing out. Very nice. Okay, and then rolling the shoulders. You're going to take your ball again, and we're just going to roll the side of the hips. So this is called the gluteus medius, and it's another key player in balance. So we've got balance, we've got the feet pressing into the floor, we've got the side of the hip, we've got the breath, and we've got the gaze. So they're the four things to help you with balance. So the breath, full and deep. You don't try and hold your breath, because eventually you will need to breathe and you'll probably fall over. Focus your gaze. It really calms your mind and helps you hold a fixed point. So the gluteus medius is the outer hip muscle, and you can imagine, like when I'm standing on one leg, it's kind of out to the side. We want to really pull that hip back in, press the foot into the floor, and that's going to strengthen everything. So if there's any tension in that outer hip, we can roll it away. So on the side of the thigh, probably level with the pubic bone, you've got the kind of protrusion of bone there, bony prominence called the greater trochanter. We're not going to roll on there. And obviously just below the waist, you've got the top of the pelvis there. So somewhere between them, you've got a nice fleshy bit of your buttock. So you're going to pop the ball on that fleshy bit, and then you're going to lean into the wall. I'm just going to lean that ball in there, and I can kind of roll backwards and forwards a little bit. And maybe I can do little tiny circles by rolling, by bending my knees. Not going to take too long, maybe it's okay, maybe you've got some nice junk in there. As long as we're not over the bones, I'm kind of rolling like this. You can't see, but I'm rolling there. Bones are above, trochanter's below. So all this is kind of the fleshy bit of the upper buttock. But I'm concentrating on the side, the back and the side. So then go to the other side. You can place the ball in the fleshy bit. Make sure trochanter's level, the pubic bone, so I'm above that. Waist, I'm below the waist. And I've got that fleshy outer hip. Lean in. So I can place my feet away from the wall and lean my body weight. The further away my feet are from the wall, the more weight I'm pushing into the wall. And you might notice that one side, I'm noticing this now, one side a bit more bossy. Ooh, definitely bossy this side. So obviously this is where I carry a lot of tension. Just rolling around. What I'm doing is rolling around. It doesn't have to be accurate. You feel where the tension is. As long as you're not on bone, you can feel it's like a tightness in the tissues. Right, let's place the ball back. And just place your fingers in those kind of my hip bones here. I'm going directly back from the hip bones, and somewhere in there, if I kind of fiddle around, these are my glute medius, and if I lift one leg at a time, I can feel one switch on at a time. So these are what help us stabilize us when we're on one foot. So let's now see how all that translates into tree pose. So we've done the feet, we've done the hips, we've kind of calmed the breath a bit. We're going to work on focusing. So tree pose, you can have the hands on the hips to start with. You can turn the toes out of one leg. You can have the toes on the floor and you can press the heel into the inner calf. That's one option. A nice one is to have the front of your chair. Probably want a nice soft covering for it. You can rest just below the kneecap on the side of the chair and rest that there. You can also do tree pose, a nice way to open the chest. You can have a wall behind you and just place your fingertips on the wall, and you can find your foot position. You can place your foot up on the knee, on the calf, find your foot position and stay open. This is quite nice because it helps you lift and open the chest, but also gives you the balance. Now we're going to press the foot down, whichever foot you're doing. Choose your leg position, knee, calf on the floor, or with a little help from your chair friend. Place your foot where you want it. Squeeze them together. That also helps. That will help switch on this glute med. Press the foot into the floor, lift the chest, and then bring your awareness to your breath. If you're not using a wall, you might want to have hands in prayer. You could also have them on the top of your head, or you could reach them up to the sky. But maybe go one position less than you can, so you can linger. You can work out how to kind of switch your balance on. So squeezing together, pressing down, and then filling with breath. You find if you're struggling, hands on hips helps with balance because you then know where you are in space, so that can really help. Really switching on this outer hip is going to help, pressing the foot into the floor and keeping your gaze fixed. So gently come out, come back into your mountain pose, shoulders back and down, both feet on the floor. And like you did between rolling both feet, just feel in. You might want to shake that supporting leg out or roll the ankle if that was quite a strain. Feel into what's going on. And let's do the other side. So again, you can have toes on the floor, heel pressing in. There's a lovely acupressure point there. It's really nice. You can use your friend, the chair, to rest. So nice. You can use your wall, and you can use any of those positions. Or you can have hands on the hips, or prayer pose in the heart, or reach up. Now remember, we're pressing the foot down. We're really kind of not laying into the hip, pressing the hip into the midline, squeezing the sole of the foot and the outer hip together. And that helps if you've got kind of a slippy leg. Squeeze them together, focusing on the breath. You could count the breath. That helps. Fixing your gaze. Squeeze together. Come on. And then release the hands. Gently release the leg. If you need to release the opposite ankle, you can. Just come back into standing mountain and feel the difference. So let's come and face the chair now. We won't need the blanket. If you're using a chair with the back, I've got the seat towards me, the back is away from me. So I'm just going to place the blanket on the floor. We're going to come and try to kind of switch the balance with the leg in front and the leg behind. So I'm going to start with my hands on the hips. I'll start balancing on the right leg. So I'm going to press the foot into the floor, activate that glute med on the right side, lift the left heel up onto the tiptoes, and just gradually let my left knee come up, let it hover and then let it find the chair. So we've got the chair. With the chair we can work on the balance. We can press the right foot down, get that right hip in line, and then let go of the chair with the toes. And what we're going to do is take the knee back and the chest forward, nice and slowly. You can reach your hands out to find the chair. It's there if you need it. And then you're going to find the chair with your hands and reach the foot back. Now you could look underneath and check those toes, because we don't want the toes turning out, we want them turning down. So that left hip is in line with the right hip. Pressing the chair with the hands, so you're really lifting the chest. You can look down at the chair, press the right foot into the floor, stretch the left foot back. Now we're going to come up again, so I want you to use your upper back muscles. You can soften that supporting leg a little bit. You're going to imagine that someone's lifting the back of the chest up, and then you're going to lift your spine up very gently, lift the knee up, then find the chair, and then you can stretch that leg out and you can lean slightly towards it. And let's do that again. You're going to lean back up, you're going to bend the knee, foot on the chair, then foot without the chair, then knee comes forward, knee comes back, chest comes forward, and you're going to find the chair and stretch that left leg back, toes down, left hip down. I'm going to imagine that I'm doing a back bend to lift me back up. I have to soften that supporting leg a little bit to lift me, lift the leg, lift the chest, find the chair, stretch the leg, hips go back, chest comes forward, and then come back. Leg on the chair, leg without the chair, and then place that foot back down. Woo. Let's do the other side. So now I'm going to press the left foot into the floor, squeeze in that left outer hip, lift the right heel up, come onto the tiptoes, gently lift the knee, hold there, the chair's there if you need it, maybe you've got a wall there, then foot on the chair, and now lift the chest, roll the shoulders. I'm going to release the chair, and we're going to take the knee back and the chest forward. So you can reach for the chair when you need to. If you keep the elbows and shoulders back, keeping that kind of semi-back bend so you don't fall, find the chair, just have a look underneath, make sure those right toes are pointing down, drop the right hips and nice and flat, press into the chair, sort of really activating the back muscles. Now to come up, to lift the back up, you want to imagine that there's a string pulling you up, soften the supporting knee and lift the chest. Bring that right knee up in front of the chair, on the chair, stretch it out, send the hips back and the chest forward. Woo. Now let's do that again, chest lifting up, bend the knee, foot on the chair, foot not on the chair, chest forward, knee back, keep the elbows and the shoulder blades lifted. Find the chair. You could do this without the chair, of course, if you really wanted to. Coming up, you've got to lift that spine. Lift the knee, knee in front of the chair, knee on the chair. Stretching the heel forward, hips back, chest forward. And then coming up. Knee on the foot on the chair, knee bent. Without the chair. Then back to standing mountain. Roll the shoulders back and down. Close the eyes and just feel in. Hopefully starting to feel a little bit more secure in the legs. Feeling like building up some strength in the legs, maybe fewer little movements with the eyes closed. And let's do eagle pose. So I'm going to have the wall just nearby, so that if I bent my knees, my bottom would be on the wall and my knees would be bent. So you might want to do eagle like that with the wall, so that you can concentrate more on squeezing everything together. You could do it without the wall. You could also do it with a block under your foot, which is quite nice. I like to do it if I can't balance very well on one day. I like to just keep the toes on the floor, so that's quite nice. So I'm going to bend the knees, bring the feet together, the knees together, hands on the hips, bend my knees. And I'm going to keep my right foot on the floor and I'm going to cross the left knee over. And I'm just going to keep my toes on the floor. I'm going to keep it simple so that I can concentrate on squeezing everything together. So nice and low with the hips, toes on the floor, squeezing the inner thighs together, squeezing the knees together. And then I'm going to lift the chest. I've got the left leg on top, so I'm going to bring the left arm on top. So I can either hug here. If it's hard to hug, you can squeeze the forearms together. If you're hugging the left arms on top, and if that's okay and you've got room, you can drop your elbows and bring the backs of the hands towards each other. Maybe they touch, maybe you can even bring the palms together, wherever you want to be. I'm going to stay in a nice hug. Squeeze everything in. So now we're really practicing squeezing everything into the midline. If you wanted to lift those toes up and challenge your balance, you could. Taking some breaths. You can sit down even more. You could even bring your elbows down towards your knee and really hug in. And then what you could do is take your arms out and let those arms lift you, then press into the floor with the supporting leg and lift the knee. And then come back to standing mountain, roll those shoulders back and down. Take a breath. And let's do the other side. So bring the feet together, the knees together, hands on hips, bending the knees. You can have your bum on the wall. You can then press the left foot, cross the right foot. You can cross, you can double cross, you can leave your toes on the floor. I prefer to leave the toes on the floor because it gives me a chance to actually activate all of the muscles and be really solid in my balance. So it helps me switch on the right muscles. So I've got the right leg on top. So I'm going to have the right arm on top. So I'm either pressing or bringing the right arm on top. So that's the right elbow on top. Hugging, or drop the elbows, bring the backs of the hands or the palms together. Find what works for you. I'm going to hug and I'm going to practice really sinking down. I'm going to practice lifting my toes this time. You can do a combination. You can go lower. Keep the breath full and deep. You can practice bring the elbows way down to the knees. And then opening the arms, let the upper back lift you up, press on the floor with the supporting leg, lift the knee. And then bring the leg back, roll the shoulders back and down. Have a deep breath. Very nice. And then just get your chair out of the way and go down to rest. A little snack for the legs. We've strengthened the legs. You can come into a nice relaxation position. If you wanted to, you could have a bolster under your knee. You can have a cushion under your head. You can let your legs fall out to the sides. And just resting from that and just running through in your head what we did to gain that strength. Feel really stable in the legs, stable and grounded. We worked on the feet, we opened up the bones of the feet, we softened the fascia of the feet just to help the communication channels, help us to find out where we are in space. That's called proprioception, really boosting that. It's key to balancing, stacking our bones up in gravity so our muscles don't have to pull all the time, helping us to stay up. And we worked on slowing the breath down through all of that. We worked on focus and gaze. We rolled the outer hips. We kind of activated them to hold us up. And we were able to do tree pose, a warrior three pose, and an eagle pose. And now the legs are strong, feeling nourished, hopefully. And once we've worked the legs like that, it's quite easy to relax them. You might feel now that they really kind of sink and they're heavy. Really key for relaxation is to having activated those parts that we want to relax. And then bend the knees. You can roll onto your side and gently come up. And I will see you for the next snack. Have a great day.